February 28th. What's up, Patriots? We got a rowdy day today. Let's just start off with a couple videos, let people plop in here.
Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Yeah, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Yeah, what's going on?
There's one. I got another video I want to play here while we're getting warmed up.
Reed's final episode, If She Were Honest.
Mr. Reagan.
Hey,
Good evening.
Beverly.
As you all know, this is my final episode, and I know you're probably cheering at the news of my firing. But here's the dirty little secret.
Language.
Being a nasty,
Language.
racist bitch was my fucking job. Smug? Check. Insufferable? Check. Sanctimonious? Oh, hell yes. Like a vegan at KFC. Wrong? Oh, I was all kinds of wrong. I was more wrong than a Joy Behar OnlyFans page. That was the whole point. To lie, gaslight, and make you question if your own was real. But none of it worked. I tried to amplify Hillary, Biden, Kamala, but the only thing I amplified was my bank account. MSNBC paid me millions to on Whitey, and I'd do it again faster than you can say, unburdened by what has been. Look, I know you white people aren't actually evil. Hell, everything I have was given to me by white people. So why for 8 years did I tell people you're evil? Because that pays, and it pays very well. MSNBC paid me millions of dollars to brainwash gullible Americans. We have a philosophy here at MSNBC. Dumb people are going to believe somebody's bullshit, so it might as well be ours. Look, the deep state needed me. If you can divide America, you can control America. So that was my job, convincing American voters that Republicans are racist. And to convince voters that Republicans were racist, I had to be racist myself. And it's fun being a nasty racist bitch. Just hating white people for being white and getting paid for it, that shit's addictive as fuck. Racism is better than crack, trust me, I know. Racism's the ultimate cheat code. Didn't get promoted? Racism. Unpopular on Twitter? Racism. Can't swim? Racism. It's the Swiss Army knife of excuses. So, yeah, it's fun to hate you guys. But now MSNBC stopped paying, so here's the truth. Trump's f***ing awesome. Trump had the balls to finally deport illegal aliens. Adios, muchachos. He's done away with the 10,000 genders bullshit. You got birthright citizenship, you got tariffs, you got the border, and Trump is in the process of turning the federal bureaucracy into a fine red mist. So I'm trading in my Trump wig for a MAGA hat and crawling over to Newsmax before those bitches from The View beat me to it. To everyone who watched me over the years, who let me into their homes night after night, who trusted me, let me just say, what the f*** were you thinking? How could you have possibly believed any of that? Some nights they would give me the script and I'd be like, there's no way any...
In fact, you can charge up to and drain down your Patriot Power Generator 2000X.
One's gonna buy this bullshit. And yet you did. You should have listened to the MAGA people. You got played. Good night and good f***ing luck.
Mr. Reagan.
We've lost millions of...
Well, I hope you guys all know that was a deep fake for sure. That's computer generated images, CGI. There ain't no way those words actually came out of Joy Behar or whatever her name is. Whatever. Another one of the weapons that's used against us is racism. Just one of the many enemies that are surrounding us right now. So, welcome everybody. This is 00 Jericho, and we're about to get into it here, man. What's up, Patriots? I just got done watching the Trump-Zelensky fiasco at the White House today. Zelensky was supposed to be coming here to sign documents giving us 120 or 130 years of mineral rights in the Ukraine for all the money that we just sent him, for the $350 billion that have so far gone into that Ukraine war. And we just watched our president spank Zelensky. We just watched J.D. Vance jump into the whole fray, and they sent Zelensky packing. Somebody says they're having some kind of emergency impeachment hearing. Oh, who did I see say that, man? ACB, they're holding some emergency impeachment session for Zelensky. Well, they better do something, because this deal's over. And what we're seeing, it's just more being exposed. We know, we're clued in. We got Christ as our Savior. We have discernment, so we kind of know what's going on. The problem is there's 200 million other Americans out there. And a lot of them voted for Trump but had no idea the extent of the corruption in our government. And what I believe we are seeing right now is a civil war within our government. Not a civil war of the people, but a civil war within the bureaucracies of this government. Trump is surrounded with 421 agencies, government agencies right now. The Doge has been going in there and blowing up, a dozen of them here. And right now we're seeing an exposure of our diplomatic engines that work in this country to keep our diplomacy above board right now. And we just voted in a mandate. We voted in Trump to deal with this. He said he could end this war on day one. He couldn't end this war on day one because of the entrenched enemies of our people within our government right now. I do believe that that was Zelensky's last days in America. Every word that came out of Trump's mouth and J.D. Vance's mouth was true. There is no way he would have been able to go this long. Zelensky could have gone this long in this war without U.S. aid, without FJB feeding him money and weapons. And Zelensky's more than happy to just keep throwing his people into a war to get annihilated so that his grift can continue. And how many of the people within our government are involved in that grift remains to be seen. Kerry, don't recall any other VP joining these press conferences and giving his opinion, man. Vance, you rock. Absolutely, Kerry. Marco Rubio was sitting on that sofa, too. He didn't say a whole lot, man. Rubio's kind of silent. He's not a happy camper. He knows the conditions that this country is in. And Trump team just rocked another one. So we're going to have to see where this goes. Adam Schiff's tweeted out a tweet before this and called Trump a coward. Lindsey Graham made a statement after this exchange at the White House and stated, here's Lindsey Graham's disassociation with what's going on. He equated all this to a business deal. All right, what we got going on here, Lindsey Graham, is a war, okay? It's a potential to be World War III. Zelensky is rallying Europe right now for a standing army to come into his country and fight for him because he's run out of men, basically, I believe, man. And so he was supposed to be coming here to sign over a mineral rights agreement. And I'm still sorting it out because it's just hard to get information right now. But apparently there was a press conference in the White House with Zelensky sitting in the yellow chair next to Trump in his chair, J.D. Vance on the sofa with Marco Rubio, the Secretary of the State, and things got tense, man. And I believe this was a display of power, a display of force and authority, and Zelensky didn't play it well. He kept interrupting, and then you got Lindsey Graham equating this. Z is not a guy we can do business with. Okay, so Graham, this is not a business. It is to you because you're a warmonger, and you guys make millions and billions of dollars off of these wars that you continue to put on us as Americans. But there is a war within the government right now. And we got Democrats and we got rhinos involved. We got all kinds of disinformation out there right now. I mean, not one Democrat voted for the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. Not one. We got Trump opening up, or we got the head of the defense starting up an investigation into the Afghanistan war. And just the other day, President Trump said, we want our weapons back. And we want to keep Bagram Airport over there. So there are all kinds of... I just think there is an internal battle going on within our own government right now. Trump has been speaking almost continuously since he became president, and I think the only thing to be watching is what the president is saying in these speeches and stuff. Yeah, Zelensky did threaten Trump there, Dan. He said, what did he say? Like that it'll come to us eventually. He said, you got a big ocean, but the trouble will come to your country too. And that's where Trump just shut him off right there, man. That was a mockery. Some chump president from another country coming in and making a mockery of all the help and aid that we have given him. He would have been annihilated in 2 weeks if somebody didn't come in and help him. And you know who came in and helped him? Joe Biden. That's who came in and helped him. So this could have been over long ago, like Trump has said forever. Trump would not have just given him $350 billion, man. Never forget the mockery that our Congress has put us through with this Zelensky character, man. They had Zelensky come into the chambers of commerce, raise a Ukrainian flag that they all signed, and they all stood up and gave him a standing ovation. Why are these people running our country right now, man? It all pisses me off bad, man. And like Trump was saying in that CPAC speech, I'm angry. I'm very angry at what's going on. And all I know is we elected our guys into office now. We got to just watch them duke it out and back them up. We got their backs for sure. It's good to see you all too, man. I'm just kind of speechless most of the time now because for the longest time we were covering Freedom Corner, or I was covering Freedom Corner. That was the focus of my attention. But right now I had to pull back and watch what's going on in the rest of the country. I'm pulling back and looking at what's going on in my state right now. We got more battles than just the federal government. We got state governments we got to get after. And we got school boards and city councils and county commissioners that we got to do battle with. And we got a judge issue, man. We got activist judges that are trying to shut down everything our leaders that we elected to do. Everything they try to do, some activist judge steps up and tries to throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing, man. I just saw today Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles has started a little thing. He put a video out where he's calling this the Judge Impeach-a-thon. And this is exactly what we have to do right now. These activist judges that are countering every move to keep our government from progressing into a better world need to be removed. And they can be removed. They can be impeached, just like they tried to impeach President Trump twice. So we got federal judges that have been overseeing the January 6th thing the whole time. Everything about those prosecutions was illegal. It was unethical. And it was crooked. It was crooked all the way. That's why there's a big crooked statue out behind that courthouse. And that because the whole thing was crooked. These judges need to be impeached. Here in Pennsylvania, we got 3 Democrat Supreme Court judges on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that need to be removed. They are up for election right now. We are going to have an election soon, and these judges, they don't get a lifetime appointment. they have to pass a verification every once in a while. And 3 of these judges, Judge Donahue, Judge Wecht, and Judge Doherty, are 3 of the Democrat judges on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that allowed the changing of Pennsylvania election laws in 2020. These people need to be voted out. Now, we can't just vote them out. We can vote a no confidence vote on them, and then they have to run for election. And that gives us the chance then in the next election in November to vote them out. Get a little sunlight in here. So we got more battles than the federal thing going on, but what I'm saying is we got to broaden our focus onto our state governments and make sure that our state and local governments are next. They're next, man. We already voted in our people in the feds. We're going to see what happens with the feds, and a lot's going on. And they are just trying. They are trying their damnedest to divide us, to smash us apart, man. The whole Pam Bondi thing yesterday was one of those attempts, man. I got a good meme on that one. They're trying to break us apart, okay? So Pam Bondi had been saying, yeah, I got these this Epstein list on my desk, and we're going to release it tomorrow, right? So what you're looking at is a meme off of an arranged photo op, okay? They said that they were going to release this binder full of the Epstein secrets, and we all thought, oh, it's going to be all the secrets we need. So they bring in a bunch of social influencers. We were all pretty stoked that they weren't bringing in NBC, CBS, and all the mainstream media. They brought in social media people, gave them this binder with a couple of 100 pages in it, 200 pages or so. Actually, what was in that binder was how to find these 22 files. Each of the 22 files had hundreds of pages of stuff in it. So anyone that's telling you there was only 200 pages of information released yesterday is wrong. They're not informed. There was 22 files that were released yesterday, and each of those files had a couple of 100 pages in it. A lot of it was redacted, but there was some new information in those files, man. But when these people walked out of the White House with those white binders, this is a copy of that picture, there was a whole bunch of people standing outside the White House waiting for the Prime Minister of Britain come out, Starmer, because Starmer was meeting with Trump in there. So these people were not walking out of the White House expecting a whole slew of photographers there. They just let them out that door. They're like, wow, there's a whole bunch of photographers, and they all held their notebooks up. And that was all to make a mockery of Pam Bondi, of the social media people. And there's somebody in the White House that allowed this to happen. And but don't fall for it, okay? And it's just kind of funny because they're, you know, the Cracker Jack box. What was the prize inside? The prize inside was Pam Bondi sending a letter to Kash Patel saying, I have been asking the Southern District of New York's FBI office to give me the information in the Epstein files. And there should be millions of pages in this Epstein files. They raided his house in New York, in New Mexico. He had another one, plus Epstein Island. The FBI raided all of those, took computers and cameras and videos from all of those properties. There should be millions of documents in the Epstein files, man, not a little ring binder, okay? But Pam Bondi, 1 month into the job, not even, had been requesting that information. The Southern District of New York FBI field officer is stonewalling their bosses, basically. So what I wanted to see happen, and I couldn't find a New York live streamer to find this out, is when all them FBI people showed up for work this morning, there should have been a padlock on that door. So that remains to be seen. I don't know the end of the story yet on this, but there is an internal war at the FBI between Kash Patel's new cell and the Southern District of New York right now. So we're going to have to see what happens with all of that. This is government civil war going on right in front of our eyes, man. All I know is I never seen anything like Trump schooling Zelensky today. That was amazing, man. But we are having victories all over the place, man. One of the things I don't think anybody's reported on is 29 cartel leaders from Mexico were extradited to the United States by Mexico, by the Mexican president, Sheinbaum. She don't want these tariffs on everything. Trump said, you're going to get tariffs. Trump has labeled all these Mexican cartels that have been bringing, human trafficking and drug trafficking across our southern border for 4 years. And they've labeled them as terrorist organizations. That gives them the ability to attack them with terrorist warfare, which means military, drones, and that has yet to escalate. But in the meantime, Mexican President Sheinbaum has given us 29 cartel leaders just yesterday. So that hasn't been reported on very much by Fox News or anybody for that matter. In the meantime, we got mainstream media and all the lefties going, Trump is going to cut Medicaid and Trump is going to cut Social Security, which I've never heard Trump say. But what is going to happen is the illegals that have been in this country have been getting Social Security checks and Medicaid. That's who's going to lose their benefits, not us. So once again, the lefty lunatics are just losing their minds because they only got 10% of the real information. That real information is out there. Elon Musk just revealed that there's, 385 million people on the rolls of Social Security, but there's only 330 million people in America. That's not all the people getting checks. That's just people on the rolls. And some of them are 200-300 years old. That's half of the story, okay? We don't even know who's getting checking this information out, man. So hopefully we're going to get some cooperation from Mexico on this. Hopefully we're going to get some cooperation from Canada on all this. And if they don't, they're going to pay. They're going to pay millions and billions of dollars in tariffs to this country because that's the condition that Donald Trump put on that. You shut down the fentanyl coming across your border and we'll take away this 10% tariff. It's simple. It is so simple. And but it took a guy like Trump to just come along and just do it. In the meantime, our Congress has been figuring out what light bulbs should be legal and all kinds of nonsense. They just keep talking about nonsense, man. And then we got Anna Paulina Luna, clashing with Pam Bondi. And, when is Congress going to wake up and realize that they are the ones that are surrounded now and they better start singing like canaries? Congress is the ones that knew all about the USAID programs going on. They all knew about that stuff. Congress knows about the secret account that pays off sexual abuse lawsuits against all our Congress people. I mean, there was literally a homosexual porn flick that was filmed in the Senate chamber office buildings. I mean, that happened. What happened from that? I didn't hear anybody got fired or arrested for doing that. But there's an actual secret account that has paid out millions and millions of dollars for those types of issues when they come up. And Congress knew all about that stuff. Congress knows about all of this stuff because Congress established all this stuff. So our enemy is Congress. They rot at the FBI, at the Secret Service Administration. It was at the top. It wasn't all the soldiers. It wasn't all the FBI agents themselves. Okay, I'm breaking up. All right, that might be... All right, numbers look good here, Nova. Thanks, though. I'll try to keep an eye on that. They've been trying to break us up, and that's just, we got to be very careful about that. We got to stay united, not divided. They're all the forces of everyone that we're coming to are trying to. Everyone that's coming at us is trying to divide us. That's the only trick they got. They got to divide us up to defeat us at this point because we have the upper hand. We have replaced the upper positions, and this has to be trickled down, not trickled down economics here, but trickled down justice at this point, man. Pam Bondi is going to get to the bottom of it. Pam Bondi just wrote that note to Kash Patel, and it's up to Kash Patel to figure out who's stonewalling that. By the way, there has been an investigation into James Comey, the ex-head of the FBI that President Trump fired when he first got into office. James Comey's daughter happens to be one of the prosecutors that handled the Epstein case in the Southern District of New York. So all these, it's an incestuous relationship between all these corrupt government officials, man. Judge Merchan, his daughter was making millions of dollars off of the Trump trials that were happening in New York, man. All right, I like that, critical thinker. The chats that pray together, stay together. That's for sure, man. No doubt about it. And prayer is our power, man. Prayer is how we got discernment. Prayer is our happiness, you know. Faith and joy is our victory. The very fact that we have faith is a gift from God that, you know, we got to cherish that. We got to praise God for that every day, you know. Hi, Tina McCloy. Good to see you, too. So we got local battles going on. We got the federal government just duking it out, man. We had the Doge federal employee pulse check that they called it now, where they all had to write a 5 bullet points on what they did last week. They, 1 million federal employees didn't even submit anything. A lot of their bosses said, you don't have to. I think every one of them bosses should be fired at this point because that was a directive from the president. So now a very pointed one with the backing of the president vocally from the beginning. There's a deadline, I believe it was last night at midnight. They had to resubmit something. They're going to find out, like Trump says, is there even really a person that is behind that job? What's turning out, what we're finding out, what's being exposed is that some of these people had federal jobs. The COVID let them go work at home, and they all started other jobs. They weren't even performing their job duties because it was such a lax performance that they had to give to get a paycheck. So a lot of them had dual jobs. A lot of them got fired, or quit, and still were getting paychecks. I'm imagining that a lot of these people who did not respond to that request to submit an email by midnight tomorrow, last night, are they're not even people. There's more corruption getting uncovered. And this is what America's got to see. And we almost got to grab these people by the ears and pry their eyeballs open so that they listen to this and see this happening. And that is what Trump is doing. That is why he is on TV 3, 4, 5 times a day with world leaders, with hearings, with prayer groups, with CPAC, with every chance he gets, he's getting out in front and leading the way. That's what a leader does. And I'm so proud of President Trump right now. He was sent from God to do this job, and he's doing it. And it is not easy on him. It's not easy on us. This was, it's painful, that's for sure. But I think we're gonna win this if we don't get all splintered up into arguing amongst ourselves, man. Another thing that happened today was some kind of a boycott. I don't know what's going on here, but I guess the left was going to start boycotting like Walmart and Amazon. I don't know all the details to this, but I've been boycotting Walmart and Amazon forever. So I don't know why some right-wing people are saying go out and spend money at Walmart and Amazon today to counteract the lefty bull boycott. So finally, the left starts boycotting the same groups that we're boycotting for years. I don't know what's going on there. I think we got to be smart. We got to be smart about what we're doing here, man. So there was another federal employee deadline, and we'll see what happens with that once the news trickles down to us. And we got to just pray for discernment. My discernment is the guy I'm listening to presenting me the news, has he proclaimed Jesus as his Savior? Okay? Right there from the get-go. If you can't tell me that Jesus is your Savior, that God is the one true God overall, then I'm not going to listen to anything that you got to say, you know? Now, we got a lot of people like Russell Brand, who has just recently converted to Christianity, and boy, is he gung-ho about it, that I'm just skeptical because he's been a left-wing lunatic for so long, man. The dude is definitely a gifted speaker, and he is definitely speaking great biblical truths and stuff like that, but I gotta hold him at arm's length and just, you know, I don't know if he's on the team or not. Same thing with Jake Lang, man. Jake Lang just pulled the same shit at CPAC, man. That guy is always talking about Jesus, always talking about the Bible, but he is not a unifying force amongst us, is he? He's a divider, man. Thanks, Jamie. I love my scarf. He's a unifier, okay? That's another means of discernment, man. Is this person uniting us, or is this person dividing us, okay? We can't have dividers in our group. We have to self-examine and critique each other, but we can't have people that are saying, you got to come to my side or you're wrong. We can argue, we can debate about things, but if you're a divisive force in this, I got to imagine that you're not on my team, you know, because my team unites. My team is we the people united, and that will be our victory. We cannot win all divided up. We've just found that out from the last 50 years. They've been dividing us old versus young. Race, all of a sudden, racism was dead until Obama came around and they just started playing it up, man. And yeah, and you know, the J6 thing showed us a lot, man. Showed us a lot about there's stuff that goes on in that prison. There's a lot of little dramas that go on. We united outside that prison for all of them, okay? And we still are united for all of them. And slowly but surely, all of them will be released. But now, you know, there's J6ers that say Ashley Babbitt didn't die. There's J6ers that are saying, you know, calling each other snitches. There's J6ers that are stretching the truth, and we're stretching the truth while we were, you know, talking to them on the phones about some of the stuff that some of the injuries that they had. You know, they weren't really injuries, but they were saying they had injuries because it would get them money from us, okay? And all that's water under the bridge right now, but we just saw all that happen. So that's the reason we got to really stay focused, pray for that discernment. Just don't think you have it, because we don't naturally have that type of stuff. We are fallen human beings, man. We need God's help to get through this, all this stuff, man. Another thing was Jeremy Brown just got out of jail 2 or 3 days ago, finally. So excellent work, man. You didn't drop the ball. And then there's still 2 or 3 that are still in jail, and one was just actually rearrested and presented himself. I believe he's incarcerated. I'm trying to stay caught up on all that stuff, but there's 3 or 4 now J6ers that are still in prison. Another thing that came out the other day pertaining to J6, which was horrible, was the body camera footage from the guy, the J6er that got shot by a police officer in Indiana like 2 weeks ago. And it's horrible. It is horrible. This guy got pulled over for speeding. I wish somebody throw his name in here so I can remember what his name was. Got pulled over for speeding. He was driving without a license while he was a felon, which then becomes a felony. And the cop that pulled him over wasn't giving any breaks to the guy. He was like, no, I'm going to have to bring you down. We're going to have to handcuff you and bring you down to the police station for felony driving infractions. And the dude was like, no, I can't do that. He ran to the car. This was at the back bumper of his car where that conversation happened. He ran up to his car and was going to get a gun. He said, I'm not going, I'm going to kill myself. And you don't quite see whether or not he got his hands on the gun, but the cop obliged him with 3 or 4 or 5 gunshots to the chest, point blank range. And why that cop didn't get a taser out, why that guy just didn't trip him on his way back to the car to get a gun, I don't know. I don't know the power trip that a lot of these cops are on, but the guy, he didn't get a chance to kill himself. The cop obliged him and shot him dead right there. And it's a horrible thing. I knew that body camera footage was going to show something that was not pleasant, man. The dude was just a common American, man. One of the Americans that went to D.C. for the rigged election and stood there in protest and stood for our country. I respect the guy. He was a normal guy, young man. Yeah, he's gotten in trouble and stuff. It's just another horrible story that law enforcement has to wear it now. They own it now. This is what they did. No second takes, no, like, I'll just give you the ticket and they'll sort it out in court. No, they just, the guy was like, no, you're going to come with me. And the dude snapped. So to me, it's another J6 suicide. Suicide by cop, man. Dan Wilson, was that his name? I don't know if that was his name or not there. Tina McCloy. Other J6ers still held hostage is Benjamin Martin, Edward Kelly, Elias Constantines, and Taylor Taranto. So the J6 thing, saga continues, man. All those J6 prosecutors have been fired. There have been, I believe, 5,000 FBI agents are trying to not have their names released that were involved with all that J6 stuff. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, was involved with a lot of those raids that were done on the J6ers. Those raids were a form of terrorism on Americans, man. Now that the vigil's over, I've had a chance and I've been going back to watching a lot of these older interviews with the J6ers, and I'm amazed at how much I didn't know about each of these guys. Every J6er's got a story, man. There's a guy who Mel Holly just interviewed 2 weeks ago. His name is Adam something, and he was a fugitive. He ran for 3 years and didn't get caught by the FBI. He's putting a book out here soon. She did a great interview with that guy. I know that there's other stuff. There's all kinds. I'm just catching up on all the information that kind of fell through the cracks about each individual J6er, man. And it's horrible, horrible stories that are the treatment they got from the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons, the torture, the beatings, the food, tainted food, and horrible medical treatment. And then that goes along with all the crookedness that happens inside a jail with, paying guards to look the other way while you do it. And there's all kinds of that stuff going on. So as a group, I felt at CPAC, the J6ers really had a cohesive front there, man. I really like what Enrique Tarrio did and went through that just exposed another thing. Hopefully, 500,000 more Americans just saw what happened to the Proud Boys while they marched up to D.C. with those screaming maniacs on their tail the whole time, and the cops just letting it all happen. That's our government in D.C. That's our law enforcement in D.C. And the Capitol Police got to wear that now. They own that. That's what they allow. That's keeping the peace and protecting people in D.C. That you can allow people with bullhorns screaming vulgarities at you the entire way. And as soon as something happens, they're there to arrest you. And that's happened many, many times in D.C. Bondi needs 5,000 prosecutors now. So yes, there was 5,000 prosecutors fired out of the. So she's looking for prosecutors right now. Okay, she's got her hands full. In the meantime, this whole Epstein flap just happened, and they're going to try. They're trying to use that to divide us up. I'm still standing strong behind Pam Bondi right now. I'm still standing strong behind Kash Patel right now, and I'm expecting news any minute now of either the field office, the Southern District of New York field office being shut down and padlocked right now as a crime scene, or heads rolling there out of New York, man, because there are corrupt FBI people, and that would be the top position in the Southern District of New York FBI field office there, man. Yeah, wasn't it, Lana? That was ridiculous. They wouldn't not even arm's length. They were allowed to walk right up to them. And then while they were having a press conference, while there was other press people standing around there, trying to hear what the Proud Boys were saying about their lawsuit that they're launching against the government, these people were allowed to walk right up there. And notice, the press didn't say, shut up, get out of here. They never do. They're there because, and then if somebody's screaming at them, they're just all happy that they're going to catch some confrontation on their film, None of them were saying shut up. In fact, at none of the events that I went to, if there was a disruptor there, the press never said anything about shut up, sit down, get out of the way. I don't want to hear you. I'm here to hear him. They never say that stuff, man. But that's the media. Okay, there was an interview with Pam Bondi on it about the James Comey investigation that's been opened. And Pam Bondi said she doesn't know anything about it. So I don't know if she's, stonewalling there or what. But General Flynn, the Washington Post, Alex Jones, they were all reporting that there is a James Comey investigation being started. So I'm calling James Comey target number one of the new prosecutions of the new DOJ. If that's true, then he should be one of the first heads to roll, one of the first trials to be put on TV that we can follow. And we'll see how that happens. That should pan out in 60 to 90 days, they were saying. Alex Jones was saying. And Alex Jones is pretty right most of the time, man. So I kind of trust what he says. He's a little inflammatory and kind of exaggerates a little bit. But Alex Jones pretty much got his finger on the pulse with a lot of this kind of stuff. don't ever forget, man, the Democrats, they all stayed silent while we were getting fired over not taking a jab or standing 6 feet apart or wearing a mask. They were all for firing people for not listening to the government, right? But now we got Democrat leaders. We got Democrat congresspeople standing outside in the cold, screaming on microphones, screaming over the dead weight of our government getting exposed and fired by Elon Musk, man. It's just, it's rich, man. It's so thick. It's something to behold. And we got to try to remember this, all this stuff that's going on, so that our descendants can know about what is happening right now. We got to stay aware. And that's why I hope there's more of these J6 interviews where each guy gets to tell his story, man. When I was a kid growing up, there was these books that you could read as a middle schooler or whatever. They were easy to read books, like Nancy Drew, okay? And there was, a new book would come out every month on that. And there was the Hardy Boys was the one for boys, back when boys were boys and girls were girls, right? And I hope that there's a book on every single J6er story that's written, So far, we've got books from Robert Morse. This Adam guy's written a book. There's been several books written. Suzanne Monk's book is in there. And I hope to have a collection of every single J6 book that's been written so far. There's the Howard Richardson book, Save the Kid. So hopefully there's a book with every single story, man, because each J6er story is different. Each J6er got into it for a multitude of reasons. And each J6er had a multitude of experiences, but they were all hellish with the bullying, the prosecution that the United States Department of Justice pulled on them. Enrique did an interview with Jim Hoft on the Gateway Pundit a day or two or three ago, which is excellent to watch. Enrique claims that he was literally had a paper slid across the desk, and they said, "You sign this, you go home today." And it basically said Trump did it, Trump maybe be there, and it was throwing Trump under the bus. All he had to do was sign the paper and throw Trump under the bus. He had the integrity to not sign that paper, to go through the hell that he had to go through with his farce of a trial, with his farce of incarcerations, with his farce of a sentence of 22 years, with getting moved around 40 different prisons they moved him around to. And that is a man of integrity. I am ready to listen to that, to whatever somebody like that has to say. And he believes in God. He believes that God kept him sane throughout that whole ordeal. And that is the common thread, which each of these J6 stories will tell us, have told us throughout the whole vigil experience, man. Every single J6er has an experience with the power of God. So check out what happened today in the Trump interview. If you definitely watch that, Trump has put out a True Social post about it already. Another thing that happened. Tulsi Gabbard's fired over 100 people from the NSA, where they discovered that in the NSA, the national, they're like in charge of those deep secrets about everything. The CIA, military, everything. They keep track of everything. And they had the chat rooms. They had multiple chat rooms where they were having sex chats and tranny advice about, having fake boobs and bottom surgery and all that kind of stuff on a government chat room. And it was exposed. And Pam Bondi walked in and fired 100 people over it, man. This is the type of stuff that we need to address, that we need to understand and see action taken on each of these things as they are addressed. So right now, Elon's discovered a whole slew of corruption, and Congress has yet to do anything about it that I know of, okay? There needs to be major action taken. President Trump was able to just shut down U.S. aid, and a bunch of activist judges stepped in and tried to stop it. But, it will be what it will be. It is I think, a civil war inside of our government. I don't know if there's a word for that or not. I mean, a civil war would be us fighting people, the people fighting against their neighbors. But this is different, man. This is an internal, a coup, basically. It's a coup battle. And we got lots of battles that we can do. Yeah, Nova, I see that. David signed a paper, and a lot of J6ers did sign that paper. That's true. They were under an extreme amount of pressure, and a lot of people couldn't handle the pressure. Some people killed themselves, committed suicide over this. So it was a tough spot to be in. Every man dealt with it, and woman dealt with it as they could. And what we saw was, some people folded and signed the paper. It's real easy to sign a paper right in front of you that says you can go home today, It's pretty bad. So I think that's all I got for, national news here. I'd like to address one local issue here in Pennsylvania. I know we got some Pennsylvania patriots that watch the show here, MAGA warriors, MAGA Americans, all my Pennsylvania buddies, Jamie Crow. Here's a Pennsylvania battle that we got going on here. Pennsylvania has decided, if you're a felon, you're not allowed to own guns here in Pennsylvania. I think most of the country's like that. If you're a felon, you're not allowed to own guns, which I don't think is correct. I don't think that's proper. You can't take somebody's constitutional rights away for life because you committed a crime. You commit a crime, you get caught, busted, you serve your time, you pay your fee, you do whatever. You paid for that crime. But what happens is felons never get the right to vote again in some states, never get the right to own a weapon in some states, man. And what's happening right here in Pennsylvania, and I'm going to read a little short article, is another guy who, Pennsylvania decided to take certain misdemeanors that they considered violent, and you get arrested for the misdemeanor, you pay your penalty for the misdemeanor, but they take your gun rights away for the rest of your life. You are never allowed to own a weapon legally in Pennsylvania after that. So here's what we got. A man faces weapons charges after search. Providence Township resident had 11 firearms he was prohibited from owning. A Providence Township man convicted of robbery 25 years ago faces new charges after police found in his home a cache of guns he was not allowed to own. Pennsylvania State Police charged Robert Loffman with 11 counts of illegal possession of a firearm after getting a warrant to search his home on January 22nd. According to charging documents, Loffman's daughter told police he had the weapons, and Loffman admitted to it in a subsequent interview. Loffman allowed police to enter his house to retrieve the weapons. According to court documents, police seized 4 shotguns, 6 handguns, and an antique machine gun, and they charged Loffman the same day. When he was 18, Loffman was sentenced up to 23 months in prison for punching a man and taking his radio in November of 1999. He pleaded guilty to charges of terroristic threats and felony robbery. As a result of that conviction, he is prohibited from owning guns. Laffman is free on $25,000 unsecured bail. His next hearing has not been scheduled as of Tuesday. All right, so he was charged. He punched a dude and took his radio. So you can imagine what that was. Doesn't sound terroristic to me. That doesn't sound like a felony to me. But somehow or another, the cops inflated it into that. I do know for a fact that there are misdemeanors. So I might have misstated that when I got started here. There are misdemeanor charges here in Pennsylvania. Like if you and your wife get in an argument and she calls the cops on you and they determine that you hit her, that's one of the charges. Domestic battery. You're not allowed to own guns the rest of your life, man. So this is a battle that needs to happen here in Pennsylvania, I think. So I'm going to call my local Pennsylvania House of Representatives guy and my senator from Pennsylvania and say, can you guys look into this, man? But right now, they're all scrambling because Trump is cutting the Fed money from the Department of Education. So they're gonna talk about this and spend a lot of time trying to figure out where they're going to find the money, because who knows where all the money's going in our state government, man. What's up in that? No, you didn't miss it this time. Yeah, I missed the Patriot family today. I wish I could be doing a better job. Somebody who did a really good job today was Oreo Express on Rumble, man. After I heard that there was something went down, I was watching something else. I heard this press conference happen. They kicked Zelensky out. Immediately, I started looking for that footage. I could not find it anywhere because all of a sudden, a lot of channels went down on YouTube, and I think they were trying to censor that information. But Josh over at Oreo Express, he was replaying it and talking about it, and he did an excellent job, man. And there's one of our crew right there, putting the news out and making sure it gets out, man. Yeah, thanks, Dolan. We'll try, man. It's a definite miscarriage of justice where you can't tell me you can take somebody's constitutional rights away the rest of your life for anything, man. You commit a crime, you pay a price for it, and that's the whole point of a justice system. And if you get let free, you should have your constitutional rights back. So, yeah, all right. We're going to try, Dolan. And then the other thing in Pennsylvania that we need to do here is vote to make the Supreme Court Judge Donahue, Wecht, and Doherty, make them go through an election again to retain their seats, man. Give them a vote of no confidence. We do not want them to continue in their positions because they allowed this election here in Pennsylvania to be rigged in 2020, and I think they should stand for election again, and then we need to replace them, man. And if we can't get them impeached before then this is how we got to do it. That's the long game, is to vote them out and get involved in these judge elections. That's where the enemy has been putting their effort into. It's a lot cheaper for them to get a prosecutor installed or an activist judge installed than it is to buy a senator or a House of Representatives guy. So I think they got all of the House of Representatives and the Senate guys, compromised through things like Epstein Island and all that. They've either compromised them with incriminating evidence, bribery, or just scared the shit out of them so they keep their mouths shut. So until that changes, Soros people have been investing in prosecutor races, local judges races in the state and local, and winning a lot of them, man, because it only takes 50 grand or so to throw a judge election in a county. And they've been doing that for a long time now. And now we got a lot of activist judges. It's going to be really hard to get justice with a lot of these people that are installed there. Yeah, you got some nefarious BS in Montana. Yes, you do, and that we all do in every state. Even states where you think everything's cool, like Nebraska and stuff. There's stuff going on locally and statewide. A lot of times that rot happens in a small area of the state that affects the whole state. Like in Pennsylvania, we got like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. It's real easy to screw things up in those two areas. And it's if you can screw it up in them two areas, you pretty much screw up the whole state. So like Missouri or Kansas, you know, places that have only one large metropolitan area, it's pretty easy to do. All you got to do is focus on those population centers, and you can throw a whole state by doing that. So anyways, Patriots, we're still standing here. We're still fighting for our country. Things are happening. The top positions have been secured. I think we can rest easy with that. And the person in charge of those top positions, Donald Trump, will make sure that those positions are not compromised. They're going to try to make it look like those positions are compromised, as they just did with the Pam Bondi Epstein file list thing. But really, the Epstein file list is, who cares? Who cares? Most of that information's been out already. We know all the people that were on that plane already. That's all been leaked out. It is nice to see an official designation that the things that were put out by Bondi yesterday verified a lot of that information. So now we don't think it's just rumor or fake news. What's really important, though, is the James Comey prosecution. World War III getting, headed off at the pass here. Zelensky getting spanked. And things like that. The Southern District of New York under siege right now for who's withholding the information from the head Department of Justice. The head of the Department of Justice, they are holding information from. That's not cool. The FBI can't do that. The FBI works for the Department of Justice. That's their boss. So hopefully Kash Patel, here's a chance for him. We got him in the race right now. This is his first fight. Let's watch how he does. Let's see what happens. At the same time, realizing that all of this could be more traps that are being set to catch these people, to properly prosecute them. The one thing that Trump has stated over and over again is that we want these prosecutions to stick, and we want prosecutions. We want to deconstruct the enemy within this government, and in order for that to happen, there's just got to be rock solid prosecutions with convictions. And the only way to do that is by the book. We believe in the book. We believe in law and order. We have a nothing if we don't have a constitution and a framework of how to run this country. So be careful we don't get all divided up, Patriots. And let's keep our heads on a swivel, man. Heads up for anywhere you can jump in, all right? Okay, man. What's up, Brian? I haven't seen you in a while either, dude. Good to see you, bro. We're going to wrap it up here. I'll be back again. I just got through that slew of notes. When I get another page of notes, I'll do another live stream, man. Yeah, a lot of information on the Benny Show. Another guy I've been watching lately is the Dilly Show. He's been doing a 3-hour stream every day. I can't watch the whole thing, but this dude's got his finger on the pulse with a lot of what's going on, and he does a very good job of stating it. That's called the Dilly Show. Brendan Dilly is his name, and the only place I know where to see him is on Rumble. So there's a lot of people. Get your sources, you know. Oh, look at 7.5 birdies proving me right. They're cutting Medicaid and Medicare. Thanks for coming in, 7.5 there. That was perfect timing, man. See? That's what they do. All right, Patriots. This is Jericho. Over and out.